Good morning, second graders. This is Mrs. Padilla, and I'm here to show you a little bit about math and art. I know you're at home and it can be hard to do some things, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible so that you can do the lessons that we have planned for you. And also I want you to have fun, so I included an art lesson today. The first thing I want to show you though is you will be getting this paper ruler. If you don't have a ruler at home that has inches and centimeters, then you can use this ruler that will be included in your packets, either online or if you come to pick one up. All you have to do is cut it out, and once you do, you can use it over and over again, so you might want to save it with all your other school papers that you might turn in when school resumes. Hopefully that will be soon. I'm sure hoping that it happens soon. So I want to show you some important facts though about measurement. In math, we're doing measurement now. We've finished our adding and subtracting, and now we're moving on to measurement. There's some things that you need to remember. First of all, we start out with measuring in inches. So, if you look closely at this ruler, you can see it actually says inches on the inch side. You can also see the numbers are far apart. It's important to remember when you're measuring inches, you want to start with whatever you're measuring. Like, let's say we're measuring this paper. Line it up right at the edge, and you look at this side, which in this case, this paper is about 3.5 inches long. Now, after we finish our unit on inches, you will be doing centimeters, which is why we have this ruler with your centimeter side. Centimeters says cm on it. It also is important that you start right at the edge. If you look, it doesn't look the same at all. This is 9 centimeters where the other was 3.5 inches. So you got to make sure you don't mix up your centimeters and your inches. So that was my little plug for you about your math lessons. Don't worry, just do the best that you can. We're all going to be back together soon, hopefully. So I do want to show you though some fun things that you can do for art. So I got a couple papers, so you can see most of my papers are square, but don't worry if you don't have a square paper at home. If you take a piece of paper and you take the edge down and fold it carefully, line it up so it comes to a little point here, and then you cut off this part here that's extra, you're going to end up with a paper that is square. So let me show you. We went from a rectangle to a square, and since I'm doing a lesson on cutting and to make things, it's okay if it's not perfect, as long as it's close. The first thing I'm going to show you how to make is a snowflake, because it's been winter and snowflakes are pretty, and you can do hundreds of designs. This is an easy way to make a snowflake. Take your paper with it squared, fold it in half. Make sure you get a good crease. Fold it in half again. Then take one edge and bend it down, so now you're going from a square shape to a triangle. Fold it again, and once you got that, hold your corner, and you're going to try to get a tight fold and crease one last time. So if you just didn't see that, let me do it really quick for you now that I have it folded. I took a paper that was square, I folded in half once, I folded in half twice, then I made it like a triangle, And then I pulled up the edge so it's now in even smaller triangle. You can cut off this part here. So you end up with something that looks like this. You want to hold on to the tip to keep your edges together. Then, since snowflakes have lots of designs, you should go ahead and, holding it carefully, you can cut out triangles. You could cut out squares. It doesn't really matter what shape you cut out, as long as you're not going all the way across. You got to leave some of it together. I'm just going to do a kind of a simple one here to give you the idea. And then snowflakes have points and different designs on all sides, so you want to make sure that you're doing it on both sides. So I'm taking it to this side now, and I'm going to make a couple cuts through here just so we can have a nice design when we're done. And I think I'm going to cut the very tip off, so my snowflake won't have anything in the very middle. Now, on the top, I don't really want it square. I think I want to cut it each side off a little bit. Okay? Once you have all that done, you carefully unfold and unfold and unfold until you got it all open. And there you go. You have a snowflake. So that's one design that I had in mind. Easy to do, and almost everybody has paper. You don't have to use clean paper like I used here. You could use newspaper. Anything you have available at home would work. And it's just kind of fun to see what kind of designs you can make. I wanted to show you another design for a flower. So I'm taking a piece of squared paper. I'm going to fold it in half once. I'm going to fold it in half twice. I'm going to hold on. So here's all the pieces that are not together. This is the little corner that's together. I'm going to hold the corner that's together. And then I'm thinking most flowers have a shape like this for a petal. So I'm going to go ahead and try that shape. As long as I don't cut the very tip off, it'll stay together. So let's see what happens here. We open it up and you've got 4 petals. If I do another one, and it doesn't even have to be the same color, because art is what you want it to be. You can make it however you like. Let me do another one real quick here and show you that you can combine them even with a little bit of a different shape here. Just to make something interesting that looks similar to a flower. If you wanted to, you could use a little bit of glue it down on a paper, draw a stem, or if you have green paper, you might choose to make some stems and leaves. It's pretty easy to do. I'll show you a little example of one I have done. So that's just an example of a little art project you could easily do at home using scrap paper. This paper was from a magazine that I cut into a square and then just decided to do designs like that. I'll show you one more cut for this type of flower. So let's take another piece of paper. I'm going to go with pink. I'm going to fold it in half, kind of like what we did for our snowflake. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. And then I'm going to make a triangle out of it. When it gets thick, it's a little bit hard, so you have to really push those edges. And then I'm going to take that edge and bring it up, and one last fold. Now, to make the flower that has lots of little leaves, I'm going to cut this off. And we're going to go down from the top. And I'm cutting that thick edge off, but I'm not cutting the very tip. I'm leaving the tip together because that's what holds your flower together. And then I'm going to go down this side and holding the edge together. Be very careful not to cut your fingers. And always, I should have mentioned this first, make sure you ask your parents' permission before you use scissors or cut any papers that they might want to keep. So it's always important to get parent permission. And plus they probably like to do these kind of projects with you. So now you have to be careful because the petals are much thinner and more delicate, but if you carefully unfold it, there you go. You're going to end up with a flower with lots of petals. And if you glue down just the middle, it would even be like a 3D flower, sorry. Now, one last one. I'm take a paper. This is something that you may have already learned how to do. I'm going to make a heart. So, just folding it once, I think about the shape of a heart. I'm going to go up and around. And it looks like half a heart. When you open it up, you'll have a nice heart that looks the same on both sides. So, you can take your heart, glue it to a piece of paper, like I did. So here's my message for you today. I love you. Make a card for somebody in your family, somebody maybe a grandparent. And I just wrote to you, dear students, I miss seeing your smiling faces. I hope you are reading every day. Love, Mrs. Padilla. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this lesson for math and art, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Stay well and healthy, and hopefully we'll see you soon.